Hello everybody, this is Dan Bigman and I am your GPR professor from LearnGPR.com. And today we're going to go over the ways that RDP, that's relative dielectric permittivity, can affect GPR. Okay, how does RDP affect GPR? RDP is a physical property that all materials have, and it's basically the physical property that influences your GPR waves the most. Okay, conductivity is the other major electrical dielectric property that influences your GPR, but RDP has several components that it influences. Okay, it influences several different things of your GPR. And here I'm going to give you three things that it influences. Okay? If you want to play a game, then stop the video right now and put in the comments below what you think the three are. If you know three, I'm going to give you one, I'm going to give you two, I'm going to give you three. The first one is the one I bet most of you know. Okay? Question is, do you know what 2 and 3 are? Okay, what are 2 and 3? So here you go. Stop the video for a second. If you're on YouTube, stop it. Put in the comments below, play the game with me, and see if you can get these right. Then turn it back on and see if you're correct or if you're wrong. All right, so number one. Wave velocity. Okay, wave velocity. RDP, which is relative dielectric permittivity, affects wave velocity. So the higher the RDP, right? The higher the RDP, okay, if RDP goes higher, then velocity goes lower. So if RDP goes higher, velocity goes lower. What's an example of something with a high RDP? Water, okay? Wet clay, which again has water, okay? Wet silt, okay? Organics. So all of these have high RDPs. Steel, okay? All have high RDPs. What has a low RDP? Okay, so a low RDP, right? These would be high RDPs. What about a low RDPs? Okay, low RDPs are things like air. There's only one A in air. So air, dry sand, asphalt, concrete, limestone. All of these have low RDPs. So these will move slow, right? So all these are going to move slow. All right, so this box right here, right? These are slow. And then this box right here are going to be fast, right? Slow moving waves in water, wet clay, wet silt, organic material, and steel. Slow moving waves. In air, dry sand, asphalt, concrete, and limestone, you have fast moving waves. So that's the first way that RDP affects GPR, and that's the way that's most commonly known. Okay, it's most commonly known. As RDP goes up, velocity goes down. As RDP goes down, velocity goes up. Okay? So that's the difference. Okay, so what's the second thing, right? If that's the most common one that people know about, right? RDP affects wave velocity. What are the other two that it affects? So number two is RDP affects wavelength. RDP affects wavelength. Okay? RDP affects wavelength. So the same exact antenna that's collecting data in wet silt is going to have a different wavelength that it produces than if that same antenna is collecting data in dry sand. Two different RDPs, two different wavelengths. Okay? Two different RDPs, two different wavelengths. Now, which one of those two? Wet silt, okay, or dry sand, which one of these has a higher RDP? Well, if you rewound the video to find out, this one has, right, a higher RDP, and this one has a lower, okay, RDP. Right, so higher RDP, lower RDP. Now, question is, which one has the same antenna? You take a 400 megahertz, you push it over wet silt. It's going to have a different wavelength than if you push it over dry sand. Under which condition is your 400 megahertz antenna, as an example, going to have a longer wavelength? It's over here. Okay, so longer. Shorter. Okay, longer, shorter. So in dry sand and all other things with low RDPs, you get longer wavelengths. In wet silt, okay, and like everything else with high RDPs, you get shorter wavelengths. Longer wavelengths, shorter wavelengths. There's a couple implications then for this. Again, we're same antenna, two different situations, same antenna. In this circumstance, what are you going to have? You're going to have better resolution, okay? Better resolution, but you're going to have shallower depths, okay? You're going to have shallower depths because your full depth is going to be limited by your wavelength. It's also going to be limited by conductivity. It's also going to be limited by your wave velocity, but it's also going to be ultimately limited by total number of cycles that it can have. Okay? So total number of cycles. So if it maximizes the number of cycles and it's a short wavelength, it's going to have a shallower depth. But because it's a short wavelength, it'll have a better resolution, meaning the same exact antenna might be able to define multiple targets in this situation, buried in the same trench, for example, where in this situation it might not be able to because it's going to have a longer wavelength. So with a longer wavelength, it's going to have worse resolution, and it's going to be able to prospect to deeper depths. Okay, deeper depths. So that's a second issue with RDP. RDP is going to influence wavelength. So there is a third thing that RDP is going to influence. So what's that third thing? All right, so number three. Third thing is the RDP will influence spreading, okay, signal spreading. Signal spreading. RDP will influence signal spreading, okay? So when your signal comes out of your GPR antenna, of the transmitter, basically comes out in a spherical shape. And as it's traveling through the subsurface, it's going to continue to have almost like a half a sphere, okay? It's going to have a spherical shape. As it goes deeper and deeper, it's going to expand, okay? It's going to expand as it goes deeper and deeper. Question is how large of a footprint is it going to have? And how will that footprint be affected by the RDP? So, again, we'll use, okay, wet silt versus, okay, dry sand. And wet silt versus dry sand. In wet silt, you will have a more concentrated signal, okay? So you'll have concentrated signal, all right? In dry sand, you'll have greater spreading. Okay, so concentrated, more concentrated. Concentrated. Okay, so more concentrated, right? This is a high RDP, low RDP. So dry sand will have less concentration. That means that the signal will spread out further in dry sand than it will in wet silt. Okay, with dry sand, at the same depth, let's say 1 meter depth, same antenna, 400 megahertz antenna, 1 meter down in dry sand versus wet silt, the dry sand will have a larger footprint 1 meter down from the signal spreading than your wet silt, right? Dry sand have a larger footprint. Wet silt will have a smaller footprint, okay? That's how it will affect it. And so what's the implication? Well, there's a couple things. First of all is how far away will your GPR detect something? Well, if the spreading is greater, that means it's going to detect it while it's further away. Okay, so can detect further away. All right, detect further away. There'll be actually, when it reflects off of something, there may be less energy reflecting off of it because the spreading has occurred. Okay, more spreading has occurred, so less energy. I think you can still see this over here. Okay, 1, 2. And overlapping of signal. Okay, so when you're going to collect, transects next to each other, how far over can you go while still having a signal that overlaps? Well, in this case, your signal, you'll have better overlap, right? So greater overlap. Okay, I'm not sure. I hope you can still see that. But on over here, right? So obviously, you won't be able to detect as far away. Less energy. Okay, so over here you'll have a more concentration of energy, and then over here you'll have to have closer transect spacings in order to get that overlap. Okay, you have to get closer transect spacings. So those are 3 things that it affects. Okay, is wave velocity, wavelength, and signal spreading. Let me go ahead and give a little kind of summary over here. All right, go ahead and give a summary this way. So we'll have right, RDP, right? So that's high RDP versus a lower RDP, right? High RDP, lower RDP. Okay, so high RDP, slow waves, low RDP, fast waves. Okay, slower, high RDP, slow waves, low RDP, fast. So there's an inverse relationship. Next, shorter wavelengths, longer wavelengths. Okay, shorter wavelengths, longer wavelengths. Implications, right? Better resolution for same frequency. Worse resolution for the same frequency. Shallower depths for high RDPs, right? So wet clay, for example, shallower depths because you have shorter wavelengths. Deeper depths, right? To be able to prospect deeper for low RDP, okay? Like in dry sand or limestone or something, granite or something like that, okay? We got more we can put here, right? What else? So less spreading, more spreading, okay? Less spreading, more spreading. Less spreading with high RDPs, more spreading with low RDPs. So you have concentrated energy, and then obviously less concentrated, right? Okay, less concentrated energy. So that's six things over here that we went over. I know I wrote down 3 to kind of interrelated with each other, okay? But here's kind of a summary chart. You can see high RDPs, like, and I'll give you an example down here, right? Like, you know, silt, clay, water, steel, okay, and organics, okay? Those have concentrated energies because of less spreading, shallower depths because of slow-moving waves and shorter wavelengths, but better resolution with the same antenna frequency under these conditions. Low RDPs, however, such as air, asphalt, concrete, dry sand, etc., have fast-moving waves, can travel deeper depths because they have fast-moving waves and longer wavelengths. Worse resolution because that wavelength is longer, okay? So you can't be able to define potentially the same number of targets that are closely spaced together. You also have more spreading, so you're going to have a less concentrated energy. Okay? More spreading, less concentrated energy, but you can collect, right, further away versus collecting closer together. I want to make sure you have that overlap if you're trying to do something systematic, have an overlap of that signal. So, if you want to go into some of these in greater detail, greater depths, head over to LearnGPR.com and reach out to us about our LearnGPR Academy. We go over how do you calculate wavelengths, why do the waves move slower, what kind of wavelength do you need to travel, how deep, and all this. We go into all this, okay, in greater detail at LearnGPR Academy. We'd love to have you in there. If you like the video, please click the like button, share the video around with somebody who might be able to benefit from it, and do me a favor, if you find the videos helpful, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Okay, trying to reach as many people as we possibly can, trying to give you great information to help you with your GPR practice, and just put in the comments below if you got the 3 of these right or if you didn't know them. If you didn't know the 3 of them, then you have to join me at LearnGPR.com. So thank you as always. I appreciate it, and good luck to you.